please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's Log, Supplemental. I'm enjoying the fact that we've started to collect athletes. It's always nice to know that the stupid rich, both stupid and rich just to be clear here, are never exempt from the fury of the already interred perps, all of whom want to, pass them around like a joint. Welcome everyone to the Halls of Injustice. Today we welcome Inmates number 169 to the ISO Cubes. Inmates number 169's name is Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is quite well known if you follow the sport of boxing. He, much like his former mentor, is in an ISO queue because sometimes he is unable to control his rather little man temper. For someone as talented as him, especially within the world of boxing, well, debatably talented, you have to look at what he actually holds title-wise. It doesn't stack up as well as people might think, but we'll discuss that soon enough when we go into who he is so you can understand the kind of person Gervonta is, where he comes from. For this video, I'm going to tell you about Gervonta. Then I'm going to talk to you about some of the crimes he has committed, because he hasn't just got one crime on his record, he has multiple crimes on his record. And then we're going to talk about the consequences of it, because this is quite intriguing. I recently put out a short on the Halls of Injustice YouTube channel, link in the pinned comment down below, with all the sources for today's video. In that, we discuss the fact that he's heading back to prison, hence why I feel it's right we discuss fallout. Not something we typically do here, but there's a reason for that. So let us now begin by regaling you with the tale of Gervonta Tank Davis, aka Inmates number 169. Gervonta Tank Davis is a 28-year-old man from Sandtown, Winchester, which is in West Baltimore, which is recognized as one of the most crime-ridden areas of the city of Baltimore. He went to a local magnet school, dropped out to focus on his career of boxing. Through a GED program, he did later on earn a secondary degree. He trained as a boxer at the Upton Boxing Center from the age of 5. He was trained by Calvin Ford, who, if anyone has ever seen the show The Wire, which is one of the greatest crime shows ever, was actually the inspiration for the character of Cutty. As an amateur, he was very successful. He won the 2012 National Golden Gloves Championship, 3 straight Silver Gloves Championships from 2006 to 2008, 2 National Junior Olympic gold medals, 2 National Police Athletic League Championships. He finished his amateur career with 206 wins to 15 defeats, which is quite an impressive achievement. Tank has a boxing record of 29 fights, 29 wins, 27 knockouts. He's recognized for having world titles as a super featherweight, a lightweight, and that's it. But at super featherweight, he has won the IBF, was stripped of it for failing to make weight at another fight, and then the WBA super featherweight title, so super. At lightweight, he won the WBA regular, retained that belt while also winning the WBA super featherweight title against Leo Santa Cruz, which was arguably one of his best fights against one of the greatest super featherweights of all time. And his lightweight title is not a real world title, so he is effectively a 3-time super featherweight champion while also being recognized as a multiple world champion in 3 weight class world champion, but he's not. Just to be clear, no, you are not. Tank is known for his incredible athleticism and his punch power. He doesn't have 12-round stamina, but he does have punch power, and he is, when focused, remarkable. He has issues making weight sometimes, but he is one of the pound-for-pound best of his generation. His recent win against Ryan Garcia raised questions about Ryan Garcia, but did cement Gervonta Davis as one of the best. Interestingly, around this time though, he had conditions that he had to abide via a court, because Tank has committed a few crimes over the years, and we're going to go through some of those in a moment. Only 2 people have been able to withstand his power, both Mexican hardnuts, in the form of Isaac Cruz and German Meraz. Outside of boxing, Tank is known for being quite the spender, mimicking that of his former mentor Floyd Mayweather, who Tank was, for a while, quite a long time in fact, aligned with. He was signed to Mayweather Promotions for a while, but he felt that Floyd Mayweather was holding him back, which made some sense because Mayweather is known for wanting to be center of attention even now when he can barely sell out the O2 Arena. With Tank's recent win against Ryan Garcia, he's more than just the A-side. Hopefully this will serve as suitable information and context as to the kind of man that Tank is. If you'd ever like to learn more about him, I'll link one of these Showtime All Access episodes he's done in the past, where he flaunts his wealth, he brags a bit, he basically lives as Mayweather, but smaller, because he hasn't made as much money yet. So now we should talk about the crimes of inmate number 169, aka Tank. Gervonta's criminal record extends back to 2017, which, considering where he comes from and the life he was almost sucked into, is quite surprising, in the sense that his criminal record could have gone much further, could have been much worse. His life would not be where it is now had he made some rather poor choices. Calvin Ford is a blessing to Tank Davis. On the 19th of September 2017, an arrest warrant was issued for him because he had been accused of first-degree aggravated assault. Court records indicated the incident took place in August of 2017. He had posted bail and was due to appear in court on the 19th of October. The charge was then changed to misdemeanor second-degree assault. Obviously a sentence quite extreme, 10 years or a fine. Or both. What had happened was his childhood friend Anthony Wheeler complained that Davis had punched him on the side of the head with a gloved fist, and that he'd been diagnosed with a concussion at the hospital. It had happened at the Upton Boxing Center. This almost went to trial, however the charges were dropped by Wheeler, and in the Baltimore Sun it was stated that both Gervonta and Anthony Wheeler were both embracing each other and walked out of the courtroom together. Almost picturesque. Brokeback Baltimore moment, right? Okay. On the 18th of September, he was arrested in DC because he and another man had started a fist fight. Punches were landed around the upper body and it was said that someone had tried to break up the fight before both men tried to flee before the police had arrived. Not a good look really, is it? On the 27th of February 2019, an arrest warrant was issued for Tank Davis in connection with an alleged altercation at a mall in Virginia. Davis had allegedly run in with a man at an ATM at the Tyson's Galleria before he began to argue with the police. He allegedly shoved a police officer and he was charged with 1 count of misdemeanor assault. The case in question, though, was dismissed that October. On the 1st of February 2020, Gervonta Davis was arrested on charges of simple battery domestic violence against his former girlfriend. The incident occurred at the Watsco Center at the University of Miami during a basketball game, where he was seen grabbing her shirt with his right hand close to her throat and then dragging her to a separate room. Quote, as a result of an ongoing investigation after being notified through social media and the victim, Davis was observed battering his former girlfriend with whom they have a child together. Davis surrendered himself to the police detectives assigned to the case. He was held on $1,500 bail and denied the allegations on social media. Quote, I never once hit her. Yeah, I was aggressive and told her to come. That's the mother of my child. I would never hurt her. He then deleted the post. In the arrest affidavit, Davis was accused of dragging the victim to a separate room by her shirt and states that video surveillance shows a partial view of the fighter, pulling his arm back and then forward towards the victim, which is consistent with a strike to the face. The complaint stated the victim provided a written statement consistent with the altercation and that photos taken of the victim's injuries are consistent with the strike to the face. In this particular instance, the case was discharged according to court records on the 13th of December 2022. On the 27th of December 2022, he was arrested again after allegedly striking a woman with a closed hand type of slap. Audio that was shared to ESPN had the victim say, please help me, I need help, please, I'm trying to go home, I have a baby in the car and he attacked me, he's going to unalive me. At that time, Davis was not under the influence of drugs or alcohol, according to a police report. He took to social media to deny the allegations, in caps this message here. It should be stated, in a more recent article, the woman who called the police said that he did not harm me or our daughter and put out a post on Instagram, this post in fact, indicating how fragile their relationship is, and that emotions were running high and she made an unnecessary call. If you skip ahead to February 2023, he was arraigned in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and charged with battery causing bodily harm, with Davis pleading not guilty. All charges were dropped by the Florida prosecutors on the 22nd of May 2023. Now we come to the more recent crime that's gotten him into a bit of trouble, a fair bit of trouble, a considerable amount of trouble. On the 5th of November 2020, Gervonta Davis was accused of fleeing the scene of an accident that involved 4 people, including a pregnant woman. Gervonta was facing 14 charges, including failure to immediately return and remain at the scene of an accident involving bodily injury. What had happened was Tank had run a red light and struck a 2004 Toyota Solara in his rather fancy Lambo. September 2022, according to the Baltimore State Attorney's Office, a judge declined to approve a plea deal that would have avoided jail time. The victim, the pregnant lady, testified she was trapped in a smoking vehicle while screaming, and she said Davis looked at me in the eyes and he never came over to help. She said her knee was seriously injured, she was unable to play with her children or work normally despite several physical therapy sessions. She was pursuing a civil case against Davis, and the other 3 victims all settled their cases against Davis. None of those 3 objected to the proposed plea deal, according to prosecutors. The vehicle itself that he drove, the Lamborghini, became disabled after it struck a fence, for the occupants abandoned the vehicle and fled on foot. His flight or fight mentality is quite something, don't you think? Witness accounts and video footage showed Davis leaving the scene in a black Chevrolet Camaro, more than likely his security. On the 16th of February 2023, he pled guilty to 4 traffic offences stemming from the hit and run in November 2020. Upon entering a guilty plea, Circuit Judge Althea M. Handy told Gervonta Davis that he's doing so with no agreement of what penalty will be at sentencing. The sentencing took place on May the 5th. He avoided jail time for this, but according to court records, he was sentenced to 90 days of house arrest and was given 3 years of probation and 200 hours of community service. Fortunately for him, he had his last fight for a while against Ryan Garcia on the 22nd of April 2023, so this did not at any point impact his ability to fight, earn shed loads and walk away. But one part of the deal, the caveat, that might have been a bit unacceptable to him was that he had no say over the agreement, over where he would be spending his time. House arrest means he has to be in one place specifically. And no, they did not let him stay at home. They told him he must stay at Calvin Ford's home, which is a 1-bedroom place, quite small in fact, to complete his paltry sentence, as opposed to the 5-star hotel he intended to stay at. Now, where this ties into Fallout is where we're going to go next, because this crime, this sentence, carries on a bit. And I should state for the sake of it, his involvement in the hit and run, because that's what it was, and the crap sentence he got, is not justice by any stretch of the imagination. But the next part's amusing at least. On the 1st of June 2023, while serving house arrest, he was taken into custody following a court hearing and transported to Baltimore City Central booking intake facility because he didn't want to stay at Calvin Ford's 1-bedroom place, mostly because it was too small for him and his security. He had wanted to stay or purchase a condominium at a Four Seasons hotel in the Silo Point luxury community, which is in Baltimore. Neither location, though, was reported to the court by the boxer or his legal team. The judge then decided to instruct authorities to take him into custody, where he will then serve the remainder of his sentence, 2 months by the way, in prison. Davis has said in a recorded call from jail, the judge is crazy. They seen I bought a property, I did everything in my power to listen to my lawyers. I listened to everyone to a T. That's why I'm sitting in jail. She's mad I bought a property. Davis's attorney had said, I don't think that Mr. Davis did anything wrong except listen to his lawyer. The judge though says, nah fam. Quote, 3 words, I am sorry. And he was not man enough to do that. He's shown absolutely no remorse. Davis also said, she wanted me to be in an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment. I couldn't take that. She wanted me to stay in a 1-bedroom apartment where I couldn't have my kids or nothing, things like that. I wanted to shed light on the situation. She's just taking advantage of me and she's doing stuff that's not right to me. I just had to shed light on the situation. He couldn't fit his security in Calvin Ford's apartment. That's what it was. Along with obviously using his children as a valid reason for breaking the terms of the previous agreement. Interesting. You agreed to it by pleading guilty. Interesting. Okay. Well, do enjoy the remaining 2 months of your sentence in prison, or 1 month, I assume 1 month for good behavior and all the other stuff you have to do to make right from a rather crap sentence for a rather heinous crime that you apparently have shown no remorse for.